Hello there, my fellow gamers. It has been nearly 9 months since we first laid eyes on the absolute unit that is the Acer Predator Helios 18. And today is the day, my friends. We finally got a review sample in the studio. One of the very first previews for Nvidia's RTX 4000 cards was actually with a pre-production sample of this puppy, and I did a video about it way back in February. It was also my first encounter with an 18-inch notebook, and back then I already liked this form factor a lot, especially when you're looking for a desktop replacement type of notebook and do not plan on adding an external screen to your setup. In addition, the Helios 18 has one significant advantage over all the other laptops with this form factor, and that is the absolutely gorgeous QHD 250Hz mini LED display. So let's see how well my first impression lines up with reality today, after we have been able to test this one properly. Our review sample of the large gamer comes equipped with Intel's i9-3900HX, a 175 watts RTX 4080, 32 gigs of DDR5-5600 RAM and a 2TB SSD. As I have already mentioned in both my preview and in the review for the 16-inch product, I really like the design approach Acer is taking with their 2023 Helios lineup. They managed to walk the fine line between overly gamer and subtle performer quite well, with tasteful RGB lighting limited to the back of the machine. Chassis quality is also really good, with a metal base and display lid, while the bottom cover and display frame are made from plastic. There's a little bit of flex in the keyboard area if you're really looking for it, but the display lid is relatively rigid, especially considering the large surface area. The hinges, on the other hand, could be stiffer to keep the display in place with a little less wobble, but overall, the Predator is a well-made machine both in terms of looks and quality. As it should be for such a large notebook, the Helios comes with everything you could possibly ask for in terms of connectivity. On the left, you can find a network check, USB-A 3.2 Gen 1, a micro SD card reader and your audio combo port. On the right, Acer added another 2 USB-As, but this time in the faster 3.2 Gen 2 variety, and in the back between the exchangeable cooling vents you can find your power connector, 2 Thunderbolt 4s without power delivery and an HDMI 2.1. While we would have preferred a faster network connection and having the LAN port in the back and one of the USB-Cs on the side, Acer did quite a good job with port selection and placement for this one. Our wireless transfer tests also netted us above average results, and if you want to show your face during your next game stream, the webcam in the Helios is alright, if nothing special. Opening up the chunky gamer is quite a bit of a chore, but once inside, you get access to a pair of SODIMMs, 2 NVMe slots, the fans and a swappable Wi-Fi module. Regarding inputs, Acer is utilizing the large chassis properly, with a very clean and practical layout. All the keys are of their full size and you even get some additional media buttons. The switches themselves offer adequate travel and a good feel overall, but I personally would have wished for a more pronounced pressure point and a bit more general tactility. But this is a really solid keyboard, both for typists and gamers alike. The touchpad is almost comically large, but it also worked quite well during our testing, with a smooth surface and pretty satisfying clicks. But alright folks, let's talk about the star of the show, the 18-inch 250Hz mini LED display of the Helios 18, and guys, for media consumption and games, it doesn't really get any better than this one. While brightness in SDR is pretty average, with around 350 nits, our measurements in HDR netted us almost 1000 nits consistently. Brightness distribution is very good in both operating modes, and throwing in stellar color gamut coverage across the board, and you simply got the best 18-inch panel on the market right there in front of you. Color accuracy is a bit off from the factory, but can easily be improved with manual calibration. If you do not have access to the necessary equipment, just head over to our written review to download our ICC profile. While we still miss pre-calibrated profiles like sRGB, for example for certain color grading workflows, the Helios will also be a great content creation companion with such a high quality display. Gamers will also be very satisfied with stunning visuals in HDR titles and snappy response times for faster, more competitive games. Our measurements also revealed PWM at around 2500 Hz, unfortunately at disadvantage of the display tech for now. But the frequency should be high enough not to cause any problems for most users. In the performance department, the Helios also offers very competitive results, with unthrottled CPU performance in the Predator's turbo mode. In our performance rating, a combined score out of a plethora of both multi and single core tests, the Acer might not offer the highest numbers we have seen, but can place itself very comfortably above the average amongst similar devices. System performance is also very snappy, both subjectively and backed up by our PCMark 10 tests. Unfortunately, the large notebook performs rather poorly in our SSD benchmarks, and while the Samsung Drive offers some very fast initial transfer rates, those had to be throttled quite severely rather quickly. Nothing gets throttled in the GPU department though, and the RTX 4080 in the Helios performs admirably, being one of the fastest of Nvidia's second best ADA mobile cards we have ever tested, both in our 3DMark performance rating and in our Blender Classroom runs. This carries over very well into our 1080p gaming rating, in which the big Helios can score very good results once more. In something more recent and much more demanding, the 18-incher can keep up the good impressions from our more synthetic tests and can score very high FPS numbers across the board. Please enjoy our benchmarks, and for much more details, please feel free to head on over to our written review. So this is the perfect gaming machine, go on and buy it. Well, hold on a minute, we have to talk about fan noise first, which is always a bit tricky for Acer's Predator lineup. While turbo mode will give you of course the best performance, it also makes the Helios 18 one of the loudest notebooks we have ever tested. So you should either use the performance mode, which is still quite noisy but much more bearable, or even the very good balanced mode. To give you guys an idea of what to expect, we took some noise samples for you. Battery life on the other hand aligns more or less with our expectations, and our Wi-Fi test with the screen in SDR and set to 150 nits netted us around 4.5 hours, which is honestly not too bad for a notebook of this class and size. Alright folks, so let's wrap it up for the Helios. If you can live with throttled SSD performance under prolonged and probably also not very realistic load, insane fan noise in a mode you probably will never use, and the usually crappy laptop speakers, you can easily treat yourself with one of the best big screen notebooks currently on the market. Performance is right where it should be and actually makes us wish Acer would offer this one with an RTX 4090. And the display alone makes this one worth considering when shopping for your next gaming or workstation notebook. But please folks, let me know what you think about the Helios. Sound off in the comments below. Please consider leaving your like and sub on your way out, and maybe check out some of our latest videos if you simply cannot get enough when it comes to tech and laptops. But this should be it for today. Thanks a ton for watching. My name is Alex, you have been awesome, and I cannot wait to see you all in the next one. Take care.